Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains. There's only one requirement to hang out on the edge, is that you open your big brain and close your small mind. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now.
Paige, they gave you the golden handshake when you left corporate America. I say they give you the middle finger.
Yes, pretty much. But they, had to be corporate on themselves. So
It is. And you know what? The average person now, the days of 20 years with an organization are long gone. That's a myth. I was reading in the Wall Street Journal that it's an average of 8 years that people are with the company. So you better get in, you better try to get that profit sharing, or you better try to get that 401k and maximize, because you are going to be ousted.
right?
It's not good.
Yeah, it's a picture from a long ago, I tell you.
Wow. So, Brains, you're on the edge with me and my guest, Paige Stevenson. Not Stevenson, Stevenson. And we're going to talk about the distinct difference because, numerology and your name, it represents who you are, your character. And she is a spiritual intuitive. We're going to ask her a little bit about being empathic, taking on people's energy, what she does to clear herself, why she uses cards, but she can also channel. I'm so excited to have her here. She did a private reading for me before, and I mean, she was on point. I'm not going to tell y'all everything. You don't need to know all the intimate details of what she told me, because I want you to work with her and figure out for yourself. So let's welcome her here on the edge today, Paige Stevenson. Hi, baby. Look at that. See, that's what I like, Brains, enthusiasm when you come on the edge, okay? Because people know it's happening over here. This is the spot, okay? This is the spot right here. Tell us about you, wonderful.
Oh, well, I have a really interesting story. My whole life, I've been tuned in. However, I didn't know that I was tuned in from the beginning, because how do you know that what you hear, see, feel, or know isn't what everybody else does? And so it wasn't until I started, I would say, "Did you see that? What?" And I was like, "What? You don't see that? No." And then it started coming to me, "Oh, did you hear that? No. What did you hear?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Okay." And so, but then, like a lot of people, I went into fear, and I was like, and this was in my teens, and I kind of shut it down. But as a little girl, I was known as having an imaginary friend. And a lot of people, we've heard this term before. And so, but here's a little secret about me is I was raised in a home that was very religious.
Mm.
And however, there was a lot of fear in our religion. And the religion that I was raised in, um, not their term, but my term, to me, it was a cult because we were told who we could talk to, how we were to dress, kind of like the Amish, but not the Amish.
Mm-hmm.
And we weren't allowed to watch television or listen to the radio because that was too worldly. So we were very protected in the wrong way. So,
When you talk about imaginary friends, I had to set a place at the table for my daughters.
right, right. That was me too.
and seriously, and I never hindered that. And
Yeah.
to find out that was the spirit of my husband's past mother. She used to eat these little potato sticks. Like French, they were like potato chips, but these were sticks.
Yeah.
She goes, "Mommy, she was here today." And I said, "Who?" She said, "That lady." And I said, "What lady?" She said, "The one that eats the little potato sticks." And I
Yeah.
said, "Who was that?" That was it. The other day, I am in my bedroom and I'm feeling my mother's spirit. I just,
Mhm.
I just lost my mom.
Mhm.
And I said, Mama, I said, I feel you in here. I said, are you here? And she said, mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And I said, so how you doing? She said, oh, it's nice up here.
Aw.
Okay, so brains, you can believe it if you want to or don't. I don't care. Because I know that it's real. I have been visited by spirits again since I was a child, and I'm not afraid. I have some wicked nightmares, sometime. But I kind of find I kind of find a story that resonates, that connects, and we'll go into that later. But
Mhm.
finish telling me what you were saying. I wanted to interject in that because people don't believe that that's true, and it's true.
Well, so contrarily, what happened with me with my imaginary friend, because of this world that I was in with this religion, I was told to shut it down, that that was the devil's work.
Mm.
And right now, and so I felt bad as a little girl. I didn't know what's the devil, mom, like this whole scenario. So for a few years, I was in fear. I thought I was doing something wrong. This is not the way to raise a child, as you know. We want the child to be in love and joy and happiness and continue that for the rest of their life. So there was a lot of learning that I had to do. And so as a result, it took time for me coming out of my teens to get into my intuition. And that is, I'm going to call it the simple piece. The hard piece is the time. And that it's like for you, April, you just trust that mama's talking and you don't question it. And that's the biggest gift you can give yourself. Just trust, because mama's not up there being mean. No, she's in blissful heaven. She's like, this is like sitting on the beach.
She told me it was nice.
Mhm.
So, I'm not going to complain, but there is a fear. It's a fear of the unknown, and people second guess themselves. I don't understand why we are so, as human beings, so easy to adapt to everything else. But we don't believe in alternative energies. We don't believe in spirits still being. We don't believe in reincarnation. We don't believe in aliens. We choose to decide what we want and what fits our program. And
Yeah.
especially when you're in a religious doctrine, I say this with love. I follow religious doctrine too, but it is a form of mind control. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
You have to make your own personal relationship with your creator, your God, your spirit. There's
Mhm.
going to be people that are going to be able to channel through that. Great. They'd be here on this planet and be outside the world as well. But you're not going to be able to get it through your pastor or through the TV evangelist. You're
Yeah.
going to get it through your word and through your spirit. When you found out that you had this channeling gift and you started to use it, how did your life change?
Well, at the time, I was in the part of my life where I was coming into marriage. And, I was looking for a man.
Mm,
And
ain't
because
nothing
I prefer men, and not there's nothing wrong with preferring women for women. I'm very open that way. Um, I I like women too, but I prefer men. And so I'm out there going around looking for that one.
bowling.
And
That's what we call it. He was out there bowling. Ain't nothing wrong with a girl. That's fun. That's fun. That's data collection.
and right, little spice of life. And I didn't know, when you don't know what you don't know, you don't know. I mean, that sounds total play on words, but the man that I ended up marrying was not as tuned in as I was. Short of being an atheist, he was the extreme opposite, except he was a provider for me. And that's how I viewed him, which sounds really shallow. And I don't mean it that way. But with him, I had two beautiful children. And we we had an amicable divorce. When we divorced, we weren't a fighting couple. We kind of went, yeah, it's not working, and split our ways after the kids were born. But all this time, I am playing the role of, because as a child, I was told you were to get married, have the picket fence, the station wagon, and the two dogs.
Mm.
And that's what I was creating in my world. And I was to have the good job with the good pension. And so for years, I kept thinking and saying to myself, there's something different about me. There's something different. I don't know. I don't believe a lot of what people are saying. And I certainly didn't believe what I was brought up in. And then you start getting seeing things like 11:11,
Mm.
and you start hearing, like, my childhood stuff was because I was told to shut it down. My childhood stuff is coming back. I'm starting to see things like apparitions, and I was like, but I didn't get scared because I think my physical remembered from a child, and I was like, and so one day I was sitting in my office because I've created this world of the ivory tower, the good job with the pension. And I sat in my office, and I was with an oil and gas company. And when you're with oil and gas, you're spoiled. You're paid more, you have more benefits. It's like the dream job. You have ergonomically designed furniture just for you, and blah blah, all those corporate credit cards, all those things, which mostly is now bygones. But at that moment, I'm sitting in my office on the 21st floor, looking out the window, and I just went, oh my God, this isn't what I want anymore. I don't, I've created where I want to be here, so I thought, but I don't anymore. And it was about 5 weeks later, they walked in, got the golden handshake. And that day, 5 people got the golden handshake, and we were let go. And I was like, what? No, you can't.
Right.
I was,
Your ego rose up, and you said, how dare
how
you
can you do that to me?
me? Yeah. Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Right back at you. So you left the corporate environment, and so how did you find your calling and really to do the spiritual work that you're doing now?
I, before I totally put my shingle out, I was all, because you got to remember, this is back in the day before we had internet.
Hmm.
And so I was going to a lot of community, at the community halls and the library. Um, you could go and listen to a workshop and find out about things. So you'd sign up for night school. Um, we don't do that anymore in Canada. Um, it's everything's on the internet now. But I used to dabble into the mystic part of the world, and because it really intrigued me, and people were saying, oh, you're good, and I was like, because again, I didn't know that what I was getting in here wasn't what you were getting or she
Right.
was getting.
Right.
And so it just started, just started focusing on it. And
So did
by
you start
taking,
taking classes? Did you,
oh yes,
started coaching? And then really what happened, with your now, let me dial back a minute. Did you go through this metamorphosis of change while you were still married? Or
it
what?
started then. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you come home one day and you tell your husband, and it's like, wow,
But losing the job was when I was divorced.
okay.
Yeah. So I'd already been in my house for that by myself for 4 years. And so when I lost my job, I was like, I have a mortgage. How am I going to pay this?
Right. I've got kids.
You would think that I went and got another job and
You didn't.
went that route. No, no, no. I was like, no, now I can put my shingle out. And then I put my shingle out and went, how am I doing this? And so putting my shingle out did not bring me clients because I was not ready. It was here that I was ready, but it was here that I had to be ready.
Right, because you're taking on a lot of energy. You're taking on a lot of work.
Oh,
Give me a little background about the work that you do. You know, there's a lot of people, and I say this, I'm not trying to be snarky, but I have to give an opposing point of view.
yes.
Okay, uh, people are going to look at this as witchcraft.
Yeah.
People are going to look at this as voodoo. People are
Yes.
going to look at this, but you know what? God is a spirit. Brains, newsflash. Okay. Creator is a spirit. Newsflash. You know, these little images that you see that Michelangelo painted an image of himself. I don't think that God is white. Okay. I don't think he could be anything he wants. He could be a flower, he could be a tree, he could be a bumblebee. Anything, and it may not be a he, it could be a she.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
it could be non-binary. Okay. So we
Yeah.
don't know until we get to that point. All right, so people are gonna say, okay, this is not something that I'm into. But give me a little history as to where this all began. Now, do you consider yourself you told me that you channel, okay? So that's different than a person that actually just reads tarot cards or a person that, you know, what else? Tarot.
Well, so here's the difference, April. The word channeling is loosely used in my case because when people hear channeling, typically they're thinking, oh, she's going to call in a voice and she's going, I am here as Archangel so and so. And no, that's not what happens at all. They use me as the conduit.
Right. Okay.
And so when I say I'm channeling, I'm coming right from source energy. And through me, it's my voice. If there's something that they need to be in another voice to get a point across or something, that will come through. But that's very, very rarely. So as a channel, I should probably use the word a conduit. It might be more evident that but source is still coming through me. But for me, April, what my soul's purpose, when we looked into what's on the records, all right, Paige, for this lifetime, here's what you're going to do. I'm a conduit with the angelic realm and the ascended masters, the archangels, the angels, the ascended masters. That is who I work with. There are a lot, and I know you've had guests on your show. There are a lot of other realms out there, but they've put me in this space, and this is who I work with. And so can I call in the aliens if I wanted to, and if my guides allow them in? Can I call in the leprechauns? Sure, let's bring them in if they want to come in. But that's not who I think of it as a gated community. That's who I work with.
With a homeowners association.
Yeah. And so that's the best way to describe it. So when I tune in, they're only allowing me because of my direction and their guidance. They're only allowing me to go in this gated community.
So now how do you connect with an individual person?
Yes.
You know, I had a person that was on a television show I was working with one time, and they said that they were intuitive and this, that, and the other. And they asked me a bunch of questions, and I'm saying, well, if you're so intuitive, you should know. You know, why are you asking me? But again, there's a whole universe out there. And so it's like going to somebody's house. You still need an address. You still need a point of direction. How do you connect with people when you're working with them?
Well, when I sit down with a person, like if I was going to sit with you, April, I would say, April, my angels, spirits, and guides are going to connect with your angel, spirits, and guides. And they're going to use me as the conduit. Does that sound okay with you? And if you say yes, then right now, ding, ding, archangels are connecting. So it's another way of saying, April, we're sitting down at a boardroom table and you get to bring your board of directors and I've got my board of directors and we're going to talk to each other.
Okay. And so
And
once you connect with that individual, uh, do they just channel messages? Am I able to ask you what, what your board is thinking? And
absolutely.
that now, all the information is not going to be pleasant all the time. And I'm not saying that you're going to tell somebody something that's not right.
Mhm.
You have to choose very carefully how you deliver these messages as well, because it can be traumatic on the other
Yes.
side.
Yes.
I ran into a gypsy one,
Mm.
yeah, and very interesting, very
Mhm.
interesting. They looped, but there was an element of con because they knew how to ask the right questions to get the right answers. How are you
Mm.
able to edit and filter the information that you give your clients?
Well, because I am so divinely guided and that I'm listening all the time, like right now, my guides are guiding me. Um, this is going to sound, um, some people might not understand this, but when people come at me with, well, what do you think of this? And they're trying, it's almost like they're trying to trick you up.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say this is a genuine service that I'm offering. And if you want to sit here and play games, then go ahead. But your angel spirits and guides are asking you to be serious
Mm-hmm.
because this is serious for me. It's not, I don't sit and make this shit up.
Right. And
This is,
it can be very, for lack of a better term, dangerous because you're taking on energy, you're taking on spirit, you're taking on information. Conduits get clogged.
yes.
What do you do?
So I just want to touch on um, talking about dangerous. That is why I am shielded up the yin yang so that, so I'm basically sitting, like now we're sitting across a Zoom call, but if I'm sitting in front of a person, it's no different. I'm still receiving your energy and I'm only receiving what you want to give out. A lot of people think that when they sit in front of me, that their whole body just goes, there's my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do that. Some people are guarded and they're like, nope, you're not looking
Like
at my stuff.
hypnosis.
Yeah.
I've been hypnotized, and I put a block on it. There's only so much that only so deep, even in a meditation. There's only so deep that I'm going to let someone guide me because I still want to have some control.
Yes. Yeah. So when there's danger or badness or whatever you want to call it, I'm divinely protected. I'm like sitting in an eggshell that only the good stuff gets to get through to me. It sits on the outside and hovers. And then my angelic realm will take it and pull it away and take it to the white light and transmute it.
Now, do you do a lot of meditation?
Yes.
Yeah. Again, because that's a great way of channeling source. You also use cards. I saw
Yes.
on some of your cards. Tell me the significance of using cards. I mean,
Well, here's the thing. I can sit down in front of somebody and I may get a oh, they're, or I might have seen them on Facebook and I noticed that they were going through a relationship problem, let's say. And I'm like, oh, they probably want to talk about their relationship. Just my own mind might say that. And then I say to the cards, what do we need to know today for Mary Sue or whoever? What does she need to know today? And lo and behold, the cards that come out are not about her relationship. It's that she needs to have more self-care and take care of herself, and or something like that. Or it's completely different. It's about her career, or the cards will say what would feed her soul the best.
Well,
That's why I use cards.
I had some girls that would go down to Mexico because we're right near Mexico, and they would go over and they would have the tarot cards read it. I never wanted to deal with any of that. I'm like, this is not for me. Okay.
Yeah.
So one day they brought the cards in and they brought a book, and the book interpreted what the cards meant. Oh, come on, April, come on, don't be scared, don't be scared. I was like, okay. They turned over 4 cards.
Mm-hmm.
Every cotton picking thing that those cards said came true within 40 days. Within 40 days, I damn near shit my pants. I was like, so to
That's
make
beautiful.
this a regular intuition or a practice, it just didn't work for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Because again, it scared me because it was so factual and it was in such contradiction to my religious doctrine, to my religious belief. But like I said, that's mind control. They want you to do what they say under this religion,
Mm-hmm.
and again, that's interpreted by whoever's delivering it. There's one Bible, but there's 5 million pastors
Yeah.
going to interpret the message differently based upon whatever their own personal feelings are. So how does working with a person that can channel
Mm-hmm.
and an intuitive enhance a person's spiritual beliefs? How do they complement one another with religion?
Well, here's the thing. What I know is that for myself, like if you or anybody says to me, Paige, I still go to church. I'll go, great. Is it getting you what you want to get out of it? It's not a it's not a judgment on, oh, you shouldn't be going there.
Right.
It's
Not
is it
for
working for you.
right.
I'm not here to judge anybody if they're going to church or not going to church. I'm not here to judge anybody, are they using the angels or not using the angels. That's not my job. My job is, if you're interested in living a joyful and happy life like I do, coming from a very non-happy life, being depressed and all of that kind of stuff for 2 years in bed type thing. Now that I use the angels, I have more joy and happiness in my world that I just have to share it. I have to get the message out of, I've got the angels in my world, and I want you to also have the angels in your world. They're for everybody. That you don't have to be special, as some people think. You don't have to, dance on one foot for 10 days or some stupid thing. There's nothing like that.
But the reason why I say that, and the reason why I say this, is because you keep referring to angels. A lot
Yeah.
of people that I know do this work, angels. Angels are in direct correlation with God and religion.
Mm-hmm.
Reading, channeling, and spiritual is in direct contradiction. So, that's why I try to, clear from my brains when we use these terms,
Yes.
synonymous, really, how do we grab hold to them? Because people say, oh no, angels and God and the spirit are on one side, and then this is this and this is the person with the pitchfork on the other side. So I understand what you're saying, and I can really respect that. But I kind of wanted to go into it a little bit because I want people to have a clear understanding. I ain't trying to judge brains, however you
Yeah.
roll. We appreciate that, but I wanted Paige to explain that because this is the work that she does. This is the gift that she's been given, and it is a gift. So, what is your ideal client? Who is a person, and everybody's not going to be your ideal client, in
Yeah.
my opinion, because some people aren't going to be open to it. They're not going to receive it. They're going to reject it.
Mm-hmm.
You may not get a good feeling to work with them. Who are you looking for to really try to bring this up?
I'm ideally looking for that person who is sitting in their space right now listening to this and saying, there's got to be something more here, and I don't know what it is exactly. And I am tired of living my world in overwhelm, anxiety, depression, hopelessness, mistrust, sadness, fear, all of those yucky pieces. I want to let them go, and I want to start bringing in more joy. And I don't know where to start. That's where I would come in, because that was my world. That's where I was. I've lived this story. I know what they're going through. And I want people to come back to their joy. Think of when you were a baby and came into this world. I don't know a baby yet that doesn't come into the world laughing and giggling and enjoy. And oh, poop, I got to have my pants changed. There's a bit of a cry there. But for the most part, they're giggle, giggle, giggle. It is through our life that we learn our unhappiness and our depression and our circumstances. And it's through my world and my program that people can learn how to reverse out of that and get back to that joy and happiness.
Okay.
That's my soul's purpose.
Let me ask another question. There's a lot of talk uh, in the world now about generational trauma.
Yes.
Okay, and this has been going on. And I'll use African Americans since slavery.
Yes. Yes.
And so, how are you able to help a person work through that? Now, you want them to have joy. You want them to live a more balanced life. All of that. So you have the answers to all the questions. I don't know, because I'm thinking that life is a journey and you have to feel the feels. You've got to go through trials and tribulations to understand the value, to grow, to develop, to manifest. Okay, life is just not going to be shit and giggles the whole time. You've got to go through these things.
Yes.
So working with you, are you giving me direction and saying, well, April, you're not happy in your marriage right now. Maybe you wouldn't just come out and say, you need to leave that joker. But you might say, well, have you considered this or considered that? I don't really understand how sometimes the information that you give allow people to still travel on their destination, their journey.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, and I'm just saying this as a point of reference.
Right.
Before COVID hit, I was celebrating my birthday in New Orleans. And I went to some of the plantations. And as a sensitive person, OMG, I'm telling you, I really had to kick in my protection and talk to my team. I call them my team, because of what I felt there. And I just call it an injustice. And I just was like, oh, I meet people at where they're at. Right now, where in the world are you? And what is it that you don't like about your world? And I want you to think of, I'll give you an example of when you start to cook. Are you you say, okay, like back in the day when you started to cook, if you've got a thing in you that you like to cook, do you come out with an absolutely fabulous meal the first time you ever cook? No, we have to practice. We have to try a few things out. We have to learn. We have to try this out and that out. And this is what I do when I help people, is I give them tools on how to get to that happiness.
Okay.
This is like, I can do readings till the cows come home, and that's going to give you information. I'm not saying it isn't right. I'm just saying that's going to tell you, okay, maybe you should leave Mr. So-and-so. But I would never say that. That has to come from within them. They have to see why do I want to leave this person? And do I have the balls to do it? That's
and so
their decision.
What you do is you can provide them insight and direction that if you make this choice, this is what you can consider. If you make that choice, this is what you consider. And ultimately, I am the one that makes the choice.
Absolutely. And what this does, see, people are so afraid to make a choice or a decision because they don't know the outcome.
That is my pet peeve. I cannot stand an indecisive person. Either it's yes or it's no. And don't sit in maybe too long.
Yeah. Yeah. But what has happened, April, when you can, like me, because I can see where this is, well, they can't make a decision. Why, and then my head starts telling me why. And so I'm like, so there's something there of not being able to make a decision. When a person isn't empowered from the get-go, they're the ones that are struggling to make decisions. Their business isn't rising, their job isn't going well, their relationships are failing, their health is going down the tubes, and they're going, what is everybody doing to me? So this is when we start reversing that and going, wait a minute, what are you doing? And this, if the people that don't want to look at themselves they're not my clients. Because if you want change, we got to start looking inside. What's causing all this shit to come up?
Absolutely.
And
But
so
you are absolutely amazing. And I want people to work with you. I want them to follow you on social media.
you see what time it is right at this minute?
Yeah, 11:11. Okay, girl, stop it. Please tell my brains how to get in contact with you, to work with you. I love you. I think that you are doing some amazing work. And if anything else, brains, go deep and ask the questions. If you never ask the questions, you'll never find the answer.
Yeah.
And if it's not for you, okay, fine. But don't limit yourself. Don't pigeonhole yourself. Don't put yourself into this block that's saying that I can't do this, or I won't do this, or I'm afraid of this. Because you know what? Fear is only false expectations appearing real.
Exactly.
That's all it is. And
Yeah.
you don't know what you don't know. Now, I'm not encouraging you to do anything outside, and I love me some Jesus Christ. Absolutely,
Yes.
all day long. Okay? Talk to him 4, 5 times a day. Okay, but if I can get a little nudge from one of these angels through a conduit,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. Tell my brains how to get in contact with you, Paige.
Well, I'm going to give the link to my website. I've got a little gift there that it's a little, I shouldn't say little, it's an ebook on the right way to start your day with magical high energy.
Oh,
It's a quick read, just how can I start my day properly? Because so many people get out of bed and go, oh, I got to go to work. I got to do this. I got to, it's like, how about you wake up and go, I'm in so much joy to be here. I've been given another day to live and to share my brilliance, and go share your brilliance. Like people, I don't know. I just, this is my soul's purpose. I need to get the word out here. This is why I'm with your show. And so that's on my website. I'm also going to give a link if somebody wants to book a time with me. Now, this is the for fee, of course, and it's through PayPal. But if you're just, chomping at the bit to go, I love angels. I can't wait to find out who my guardian angels are. I can't wait to talk to them and see what they have coming for me. Then this is the link that you want to click on and get your own private 101, and we can have that conversation. I will also tell you that I have a webinar coming up for the next few Thursdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, and it's called How to Start Waking Up Happy and Stop Destroying Your Day with Overwhelm. That's a masterclass that's just come on and listen, and I give some really good tips in there, and that's every Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific.
well,
Yeah.
I think that, again, check it out, brains.
Yeah.
What does it cost you? You might find something that, uncover something that really can change your life in a good way. So thank you.
Well, and I just want to touch on that, April. I want to touch on that for your listeners. how do you know who to work with when you want to start talking to the other side? How do you know? And I'm not saying it's necessarily me, but I'm saying when you find the person that, what if you say, okay, I want to talk to the angels or the leprechauns or whoever you want to talk to, you will have a feeling or a knowing that, yeah, this person sounds like the one I want to use. Yes, I should get in contact with this person. There will be some kind of a lightness going inside of your body that says, this is the one. If you're connecting with somebody and it's like, yeah, there's something off here, don't do it. Ask for the next one to show up. Where's the next one? So be very powerful in your decision on who you should connect with.
Exactly, because they're connecting into your spirit. Thank you
Mhm.
so much for being here on the edge with me. I appreciate you. I value you. Uh, Look at that. Okay. We are doing big things. We're providing you options, choices for love, resource, healing, and recovery right here on the edge. Paige, come back. And next time you come back, maybe we can do a reading, a live reading for someone. Okay?
That would be
It'll
fabulous.
be a lot of fun. All right, baby. I'll talk to you soon. Mwah.
Thank you.